Let's go find a dirt road. This ought to be fun. Listen to them twin turbskis. Woo! What's up, Lite Brite Nation? Bet you can't tell what we're gonna work on today. We got a little bit of a break because we're waiting on some parts for the LJ build. So while we're waiting for that, I'm gonna work on the Bronco real quick. Let me show you what we got. All right, what we have here are Bilstein's new 6100 ride height adjustable shocks or struts for the new Bronco. These are a 60mm body, which provides more fluid so that you can dissipate heat when you're really mobbing through the rough stuff, so you don't get any shock fade. They're also adjustable from 0 to just over an inch, depending on where you put this snap ring and you put the spring bucket. So you know us here at Lite Brite, we're gonna go big. So I'm gonna raise this guy all the way up and see what kind of lift we can get out of this thing. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, what you get in the kit is 4 struts, 4 spring cups, 4 bolts and nuts. Those are for the fronts. They don't want you to use the factory hardware in the front because I believe this is a little bit thicker, so they give you a little bit thicker bolt for the front. The rear will utilize all the stock hardware, and you also get new top nuts. Now here is the adjustable ring. So all the way down would be factory ride height. So then you put your cup single-handedly over. That would be stock ride height. Now if you wanted to lift it up a little bit, you take the snap ring off and you move the snap ring up wherever you want it, and then your spring bucket would only go to there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna raise all these up to the top first. You will also need some sort of spring compressor. These are not ideal, but you can do this at home if you have a set of these. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at other local hardware stores or auto repair places. These will work. Wall-mounted ones are obviously a lot nicer, and then they also have pedestal ones, but these will get the job done, and I will show you how to use them. But first, let's see what the ride height is on this bad boy right now. And as you can see, we have all this new Next Venture Motorsports products. We have their new front bumper with the sensors in them. We also have the sliders, and we also have their rear bumper. We're missing the lights because I haven't put them in yet because I got to wire them in. They also have the factory sensors are in the bumper and they work. So first, let's get a ride height measurement. Alrighty. So, from the ground to the frame, right now, we're between 14.5 and 14 3/4, so we'll call it 14 5/8. It's kind of at the corner, so we'll just call it 14 5/8. All right, so that's at the front. Should we measure the back? Yeah, let's measure the back. All right, we'll do it. All right, at the back, right in front of the spring perch, about 15 1/4 at the back spring perch, right in front of the back spring perch at the frame. Oh, and check these bad boys out. Next Venture Motorsports skids. Sick. All right, so yes, Bilstein makes the OEM strut for the Badlands, but look how much bigger this guy is compared to that one. It's huge. I can't wait. All right, so first things first, we got to get that guy out of there. 2 bolts in the bottom, 3 bolts at the top. Now you do have to loosen all of these control arm bolts so that this will fall down, because you got to get, not fall down, but you got to get this to settle down some more so that you can get that strut out of that socket. We might, I don't know yet, we might have to pop this ball joint off too, this tie rod, and just get this out of the way so that we can pull that strut out. Let's see what happens. All right, before you do anything, make sure you mark these cam washers that are on this lower control arm. There's one here, and there's one right there on the other side. If you don't mark these and you put this back together and this washer's not in this exact location, your camber and caster will be completely out the window. They'll be completely screwed up. You'll have to take it straight to an alignment shop, and it will drive really funny because this cam pulls this arm in and out, which changes this camber, or it can change the caster if this one goes out and that one goes in. So make sure you mark these, because we will be removing this bolt, because we're going to have to lower this control arm out of the way to get these studs out of this lower control arm. So mark those and then let's take it apart. Now the things you got to take off are the 3 nuts at the top of the strut, the 2 studs at the bottom of the strut, the tie rod you got to take off, the sway bar link you have to take off the lower control arm, and then we're going to pull those 2 bolts out of the back of the control arm. To get the sway bar out, you're going to need a number 6 Allen and a 21. You're going to use the 6 Allen to hold the bottom of the stud while you take the nut off. This one kind of sucks because you can't use any power tools really, but we'll get it off. The rest should be pretty quick. Now for the big bolts. Working on new vehicles is awesome. And this is why engineers and mechanics don't get along. So we're gonna have to tackle this a little bit different, because I don't know if you can see this bolt. This bolt right here? Yeah, this one that's right here up against the sway bar bracket. So yeah, we'll have to disassemble the entire sway bar, take that frickin' bracket out just to get that bolt out so that you can replace the lower arm. We're not doing that. Plan B, we're gonna knock this bolt out, pull this up, maybe this will come out, and then this lower control arm will swing down far enough so that we can get this strut out of this hole. Oh God, I love engineers. Now I gotta get a jack. Sway bar link, just take it out. Finally got it. Took some finagling, but ultimately I had to take the axle nut off so it can get a little bit more length out of it. I had to loosen up the brackets on the brakes just to get a little bit loose on that. Just to get a little bit more down on the control arm so that I can pop this strut out, but here she is. Ah, engineers, I tell you. Now that it's out, before we take it apart, you need to pay attention to the orientation of this pin right here. So when you put it back together, this has to be right where it is in relation to the tabs on the bottom. That is the biggest part to watch out for. All right, let's get this thing apart. This is directly straight down, pins slightly to the left. Now to place these guys. Go in there, slide in. Now we tighten it down evenly. You got it locked down. Make sure you remember the orientation. Voila. This part shouldn't matter. This is gonna go wherever the spring ends up when the top hat is where it needs to be. All right, another thing, as per the constructions, you discard this little shimmy guy, and somehow you're supposed to take this boot off of here and keep the bump stop. You know what though? There's no going back. Boop. Keep this guy, put the spring on. The bump stop on, and then the top. Remembering that the orientation goes that way, like so. And then you just put the top nut on. Now you tighten it down. Voila. Now I just reinstall in reverse order and do the same thing to the other side. But let me get that done real quick. This is where you use the factory, well, the Bilstein supplied hardware. These go down through the lower control arm. So there's that. They're in. I swear you can do this at home. I swear. Just have to have a lot of patience. Done. I'm just kidding. We still have to do the lower control arm misalignment washer thingies. So we got to tighten those up and put those back to factory so that the alignment is right. One last thing to do. So before we crank down the lower control arm bolts, we want to have the wheels back on and we want it back on the ground, and then we'll crawl under there and give them a tighten up. That way the bushings are where they want to be at ride height, so they will be the most comfortable that they can possibly be. If you tighten them up right now and then you lower it down, the bushing is now in tension, and then it'll constantly be in tension, and that's how you get control arm bushings to go bad. So make sure they're at ride height before you tighten down the lower control arms. Actually, any bushing for that matter. So let's get the other side done real quick. Then we'll put the front end down and tighten up these control arms. I also wanted to show you this cute little thing that the Ford Bronco has. It's so cute. Look at this cute little tiny turbo. It's so tiny. It's so cute. We need to put some GT28Rs on here or something. A couple of those bad boys. Put some boost through this thing. Look how cute. It's so adorable. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Dang! Holy cow, look at that. Look at that. That is sick. That might be even over an inch. I don't know, but let's do the back real quick and then we'll measure it. That looks sick. So let's see what we got going on in the rear under here. All right, we got Next Venture Motorsports rear shock skids. These things are very important. You should definitely get a set of these, because otherwise that can right there is just out in the middle of the open and you'll smash that sucker right on a rock. Full belly pans. We have the diff cover, or the diff skid from Next Venture. That thing is a lifesaver. I've already used it myself right there. Also, the Next Venture Motorsports bolt-on body-mounted sliders with UHMW on it. That's right, America. So these things are pretty sweet. I have not been able to use these yet because we just got it back. Yeah, I think we can do both of these struts at the same time. There's 315s up there, and then this big bolt down here. I don't know why they use this big 3/4 thing, but they do. So let's get this out. I bet you I can do both sides at the same time. It'd be much easier if you didn't have the skids on it. The shock skids, they might have to come out, but I'm gonna try to articulate it out of the way. Ta-da! Let's get the other side out. Got them both. To the bench. All right, so the setup on the rear is pretty much the same. Square this up, stud with the pin is straight on. These ones should be much easier because they're a lot taller. Bilstein strut installed. The rear ones are much easier than the fronts. Just gotta do one more, then we'll put them in. Two down. Super easy. Now let's get them installed. Way easier than the front. I suggest you do the front first, then have a drink or two, and then tackle the rear. You'll be much happier when it's over. Let's get some wheels on it. NASCAR! Go. Dang. I think we did pretty good. I think it's definitely over an inch, although it might settle. So one more thing left to do. Those front lower control arm bolts. Now we tighten them up now that it's on the ground and at ride height. So we'll go ahead and we'll tighten those up, and then we'll go for a test drive and see what happens. All right, now all the bolts are tight. We've got the control arms all tightened up. I'm gonna run it around the block real quick and we'll bring it back in here and then we'll do a final measurement, see what kind of lift we get out of these things. First impressions, it drives really well. The alignment's spot on, it didn't go anywhere. It feels really stiff and nice and solid. We'll do another test ride in the morning when it's light out and you can see. But what I wanna know is how much lift did we get? Let's find out. All right, in the front we had, what, 14 5/8 I think we had when we started, 14 5/8. We're at 17, that's way more than an inch. They said it was gonna be an inch, they lied. I'm not mad at it, I'm gonna take it. That's just over 2 inches, just over 2 inches. That's crazy. Now let's check the rear. All right, in the rear we had 15 1/4 when we started. We're exactly at 17 again, so it leveled the Bronco out a little bit. Actually, it leveled it out perfectly. It's 17 in the front and the rear. It's square. That's impressive. Now in the morning, when the daylight comes, we'll do a nice little road test. Check it out. And here it is the next morning, and the sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Check this thing out. Look how good that looks. It's very square right now, so it's perfectly level. There's no rake to it. Man, she looks good. She makes them 35s look good. Got one last thing to do though. Let's take her on a test drive and see how she feels. Man, look how aggressive. I really like the way it turned out. It looks very proportional now. Let's go take her for a spin. Well, now that we're in there, I know what else I'm about to do. Ha! Well, let's take a ride and go get some fuel. Well, I did notice that even at full lock, it doesn't rub anymore. It used to rub at full lock. Well, that's convenient. Let's take a rip up the highway and see what she feels like. All right, getting on the freeway. Listen to that twin turbo V6 roar. Roar. It's actually pretty quick. Yep, top still makes noise. Mild mannered. She goes straight. Perfectly dead straight. Feels pretty good. Nice and stiff. We gotta go get fuel first, and then we'll go venture and find a dirt road to play on. But yeah, initially, ride's great. Look, man, no hands. Now that we got some fuel, let's go find a dirt road. Lucky for us, we live in Utah, so dirt is never far away. Like I said, that didn't take long. Now we're in the dirt. All right, very first impressions. It feels really good. Minus the roof making noise, because the roof makes a little bit of noise, but it feels wonderful. Although we're not in the hard stuff yet. Look at this view though. Now we're still in two-wheel drive. We still have the sway bars on and everything. We're in too high, so we're just cruising. It's very nice. It feels very stable. It's very firm. It's nice. Yes, it's nice. Yes, it's nice. All right, after this gate, I think is where it gets the hard stuff comes. Let's hit this gate. Ah, very nice. Honestly, this thing does dirt roads better than like a solid axle car, like a Jeep or something. Even my Land Rover. This thing does dirt roads much better. Like, you can definitely mob around dirt roads in this thing really, really comfortably. I mean, we're doing what, 35, 34. Yeah, it feels like we're on pavement. Still doing 30 through the rough stuff. Didn't even feel it. This is quite the package. It's very comfortable. It's very comfortable. Even at speed, we're doing 45 on a dirt road. Win-win. I like these a lot. It doesn't have the shock chatter, like when you hit a good sized rock and usually get some wheel chatter. You don't get any of that. This feels very planted and firm. Again, everything's hooked up. Sway bar's still on. We're still in two-wheel drive. As we get up here, I'm pretty sure this road gets a little rougher. But even this, look, hard stuff. Nope. Really nice. All right, now we have everything off. A little spirited driving here. It's very planted. Feels great. It doesn't clunk. Some of these ruts are pretty big. Can't even feel half of them. Makes the Bronco fun to drive. another rut. Ready? Oh, I can't even. Oh, another couple. Oh, drives great through here. All right, let's go see what she feels like off-road. We are definitely off camber right now. Oh. No lockers, but we are in 4 low. No, I really like these. All right, bit of a squeeze here. One tree there, one tree here. One tree there, one tree here. Well, we made it. I do like how capable this Bronco is, even in its relatively stock form. I mean, we just have 35s on this thing, and now we have a 2.5-inch lift, and it does great. This is very comfortable. So from here, you can really see, you know, the stuff. A nice stuff in there. And you can really see the lift. LOL. Look at them guys. Shh. Listen. Oh. It's amazing being out in nature. Oh, so peaceful. And that wraps up the Bilstein 6100 ride height adjustable shocks and struts for the new Bronco. It gave us about 2.5 in the front and 1.5 inches in the rear. Leveled it out, it looks great. I probably would not upgrade to 37s. It rides amazing just the way it is. It tracks straight down the road. It handles amazing off-road. I really like driving this on the dirt. Wheeling, definitely prefer to take the Jeep or my Land Rover. But this thing, if you're going to cruise around the off-road on dirt roads and long overland adventures, this is the way to go. This thing rides great, and I definitely suggest the Bilsteins. I do kind of like it. I do. It's growing on me. It is growing on me. If you got any questions, leave a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe and share. And remember, you can get all of your Lite Brite merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye. Mwah. It's so peaceful out here. You can hear the birds chirping. Definitely going sideways down the hill. Crawling. Man, I love living in Utah. All right, let's get out of here.